At Bright City Ministries, we have a prayer blanket ministry. If we find out that someone has cancer, going through chemotherapy, we want to give them a blanket. We want to anoint that blanket with oil. We want to pray over that blanket, and we want to give it to them as a gift so that they feel supported, so that they feel the love from the church. And it also has the physical attribute of giving them the warmth that they need when they're going through chemotherapy. So what is cancer? Cancer occurs when cells in our body grow uncontrollably. They lead to formation of tumors, and then ultimately the cancer begins to spread throughout our body. And some of the statistics on cancer are quite shocking. Last year, in 2020, 1.8 million people were diagnosed with cancer. That's 3 people every minute. So while we are talking in this video, 6 to 9 people are finding out that they have cancer. And 1 out of 3 people who are diagnosed die. My dad was one of those 3. My dad was diagnosed with cancer in 2007. It was an extremely aggressive form of cancer that was already spread throughout his body. And 1 month after he was diagnosed, he died. When I was pregnant with my second child, it wasn't just the physical, typical sickness that you have whenever you're pregnant. I had a spiritual and mental sickness that was taking over my body. I was having anxiety attacks. I was having thoughts of not wanting to have this child within me. And I'll never forget, I couldn't make it to church. I was sick. I didn't want to go. And all the women at church, they just got a cloth, like a simple cloth, and they all prayed over it. They anointed it with oil. They came over, they brought it to me. And throughout the next few weeks of my sickness, every time I was feeling weak, I would hold on to that cloth because it just had that, I felt strength from it. And ultimately, between the sickness that my dad had with cancer and feeling the comfort from that cloth, it led me to want to start our prayer blanket ministry. When people go through chemotherapy, they're really cold. I mean, you're in a clinic, you're in a hospital, a very sterile environment. Hospitals tend to be cold because it keeps bacteria away. So they need something to keep them warm. You have that traditional picture of someone going through chemo. They're wearing a hat. They're probably wearing a jacket. They've got thick woolly socks on, and they have a blanket over them. We want one of those blankets to be ours. We want it to be a blanket that's from Bright City Ministries, a blanket that has been drenched in prayer, that has that healing, anointing power that God has given to us as a gift, that is still alive and working today. A prayer blanket's purpose is a covering. It's meant to be a covering for healing and restoration. It's also meant to keep you warm during treatment. And lastly, and this is probably my favorite one, is that it is meant to be a reminder of the love of the body of Jesus Christ. And that's what we are. We are the church, we are a family, and we are the body. To help out with the prayer blanket ministry, you can donate at brightcityministries.com and just let us know on a comment on your donation that it's going towards our prayer blanket ministry. You also can come and pray over a blanket with us. You can show up to women's prayer on Tuesday at 8 a.m. at our location, and usually there will be a blanket there that the women are going to be praying over. Lastly, if you know someone who needs a blanket, please let us know. We would love to give them one. Psalms 56:8. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book.